G'day guys, welcome back to Cricket Captain 2025. Today we are going to look how you find the best Wonderkids and youth intake players on the game. So there are a few things to take into account. One is you get a youth team budget. The more money you put into that, the better chance that midway through the season you get better players. Then you get the opportunity to sign them, and then you end up at this point where you have your squad, you've decided who to retain, and you can go on and buy players. And if you're like me and you enjoy a good youth challenge, these are the things that I look for when trying to identify top level talent. Now, it's not surefire. Some players end up better than others and you're not quite sure why. But generally, particularly with the bowlers, I've found it's worked really well. Now, the first thing I do when I look on this screen is I scour the salary. So you see low amounts getting down to 16,500 and you see it getting up here to 22,500. Now, they're all anything like 19, 20, 21, 22. It's all in a reasonable sort of ballpark. When you see something extra special, you're immediately going to see 30, 40 sort of grand. And, you know, they're going to play for England. They're going to be off. But you might get a couple of seasons out of them before they go. They'll develop quickly. They will be exceptional players. Do whatever you can to sign them. And when they're playing for England, you won't pay for their contract because they'll be centrally contracted players. Here, they're all much of a muchness. So what you actually need to do is get down into the weeds. So always look at second team averages. Sometimes you might find someone that's played like a one-day game or something like that, but generally not to be. And so I go into the batting section and I want to look and find the best batters. I always use first class cricket as kind of an area to start with and go, that's the most important part of the game for me. And there's a few. One, you need them to have enough games where you know that they're good. Generally something 15 plus is a good place to be, in my opinion, for second team cricket. 30 ideally, but you can see Lampard at the top. One, he's got a stack of runs, but averages almost 50, 7 centuries, and a really good strike rate. 48 is a good average. I think if to get like the top tier talent, I've had guys average 48 in second team cricket in average like mid 30s when it's come to picking my West Indies team. So it doesn't always translate well enough. Anything 45 plus is pretty reasonable. I'd avoid anything less than 45 if you can. Sometimes you've got to take a little bit less to fill a hole in your team, or he might be better in a different format. But if you can find guys 50 plus, like this is quite an interesting one, Lingram. I'd be interested to see how he does in his career because he's got 3 centuries to his name from 25 games, but he averages 50. So if I was to look at this, I'd be looking at Lampard for his 7 centuries, and I'd probably be looking at Redfern, who averages 46, but again has got 7 centuries. There is a point of having consistency and being good enough to score hundreds in the game that's really valuable. And then in first class cricket, looking at the bowling, immediately very old school, drawn to the averages. And there's nothing here that's kind of going to rock your boat over. There's an average of 26 for Bannister as a spinner. 42 strike rate is really good, but you do get guys coming through where it's in the 30s. 3.76. Like I've had a lot of players this sort of quality. If you can get them, drive them on technique for aggressive bowling, get them bowling between the 40th to 80th over sort of time, he could be a decent signing for you, but you have to expect that he does probably go at 4 and over a lot of the time. Everyone else, strike rates, if you're getting second team strike rates in the 60s, even mid 50s and above, stay way clear of that. One day cricket's a little bit more of a difficult one because if you get a good player, they're not going to play a lot of one day cricket for you. They're going to play the first season and then they're going to be in the 100 if you're playing in this format. You see Lampard again, absolutely shining bright. 6 centuries, an average of 57 is incredible. Redfern again averaging 50, lots of 50s, but again head and shoulders above most of what they're. Martin opens in this format as well. Bentley gives you good strike rate, but he's not really got a body of work that you can work out who he is. And the bowling here, again, I think as a general rule, you want to be low 5s, if you can get into the 4s in the economy rate, then they might be around for a little bit for you. But someone like Ogden here is quite an interesting bowler, because we looked at first class cricket and it's not much of a record, but then you look at his one-day stuff, he averages 29, 35 strike rate and goes at under 5s. Now, you can say he's got a decent body of work. If it was me, I don't normally sign players just because they look a good one-day bowler. I sign them, batters and bowlers, because they either play first-class cricket or they play T20 cricket. And everything else in the middle can just come into the one-day format, which takes us on to T20 cricket. So ideally here, you want to be seeing someone averaging 20 plus is kind of where I go. If someone's averaging low periods, then I'm like, oh, it's not really going to do a lot for me, regardless of strike rate. Lampard and Redfern, both of them 123, 124 strike rates. Not amazing in this format. It doesn't mean that as they get better, they're not going to grow into a decent player, be a good anchor. But they're not the sort of guys that's going to give you like a WK, or who are signed in year 1 of my Middlesex save. This is his T20 blast stats from buymeacoffee.com/leadingedgepod. You can sign up to the Cricket Captain 2025 stat pack. He had a career average of 26 and a strike rate of 166, 5 centuries, head and shoulder above anything else we produced. You could possibly look at Bentley here, but 150 from 19 matches, it's not really a lot to shout about. So in terms of just picking someone purely based on T20 ability, there's nothing there. I'm going with the guys that I'm signing because of what they can do in red ball cricket. And again, with the ball here, you're looking below 8, but I'd keep an eye out for 2 things when it comes to this. One, Bannister has got a strike rate of 16 in this format. Again, key. Like, if you can get a spinner that can take 3 or 4 wickets and they take them fast, then you're onto a bit of a winner. Or the other way to go is your economy rate guys, where you've got Albright and you've got Springlet. But the strike rate's 22, 30. Like, they're not good. You need you to have your strike rates here below 20, in my opinion, to be even considered to come into my team as a strike rate bowler or as an economy rate bowler. So this is open market on these players. The first time I bid for them, I'd just bid what they're worth, what the offered salary is. So I'm going to go in on Lampard, I'm going to go in on Redfern, and I'm going to go in on Bannister. Give them all 3 years. Young players, give them 3 years. And we get Lampard, we get Redfern, and Bannister is signed as well. Quite often when you're going through this process, you get like another section of players come through. We don't so much here, but I'm happy with that. I've got 3 young studs, and the first thing I want to do is, when they're signed, is get them training. So there's a couple of things that I always train. I want offside and I want front foot. So if I've got a couple of players, I'll split between the 2. And with Bannister, I want to get him on bowling technique and aggressive bowling straight away. Okay, so I've just got one-day stuff turned on here. But you can see throughout the season, Redfern's improved his front foot batting to the limit. So in theory, he should be changing it off that. Bannister's improved his attacking bowling. And we've got 2 new young players come through the lineup. So I'm just going to swap those 2 over. And Bannister is now going into white ball territory. So I'm just going to move him along into the one-day stuff. But you can see that Lampard and Redfern have both had a little bit of first-class cricket, which is really good. You're not expecting beautiful things the first season. The other thing I didn't touch on was age. The 21 and 22, which is a little towards the end of what I would like to bring someone into. Also, Bannister, 18 wickets at 26, 17 strike rate, went at 9s in his first season in the Blast. I've just played my first one-day game with them, and Redfern, 76 off 77 to win us a game. Lampard with a duck, but that's a pretty good first effort. Okay, so end of season 1. Some good stuff in there for Lampard. He went on and made 2 first-class centuries in his first season, so a little bit of growth. Redfern did score 100 as well and made a couple of good 50s. Bannister, well, he was white ball cricket, but 18 wickets at 26, 14 at 32, went to under 6 and over. That's not bad for a first season. Not amazing. I'm not saying they're the best players in the world, I'm just showing you how I find them and develop them. And quite incredibly, through our youth system, we've got a guy called Wilmot who looks a baller. 61,000. He's a third. This is what I mean. 37.5 grand. Like, he looks an absolute stud. Averages 47 in one-day cricket, 31 in T20 cricket with a strike rate of 169. That's what I call a wonder kid, and that is just from investing nothing in our youth team. We've just got really, really lucky. Now we've gone through the whole cycle. We're back here looking at what youth players are available on the market. Again, we look through the contracts and we see there's not very much. Lingram's there, who was there last year as well. But from a first class level, it doesn't look like there's heaps there. Just looking through at the averages to start with the bat, with the one-day stuff, London's the best, and he was the best mid-40s first class player. You could possibly take a look at Stack for T20 cricket, but he's only got 150 from 23 games again, so you're a bit light. London's probably the guy. Averages 32, 123 strike rate, looks a good player. And Snow with the ball, 7.33 and 14 economy rate is actually quite reasonable. 21 with the ball and 4.8. Yeah, I'd probably go in on Snow. 22 average in first class cricket. Economy rate of 3.2. He's the best spinner we've seen come through so far. 4.8 economy rate is really, really good. And then 7.33. So they're the two signings I'll be looking to make at this stage in terms of youth players coming through. And the other thing you can do around them is train them during the off season. And again, we're going to do offside, we're going to do front foot, and then move on to pace or spin depending on what's going on. And we're starting to get somewhere. So Lampard's done his front foot to the limit now. Redfern's improved his offside to the limit and his front foot. So he's an opener and he's got a spin bowling preference. So I think if we can bang him on some fast bowling, there we go. And we get Bannister up to his limit for attacking bowling. So I'm going to do the same for one-day cricket for him now. Just looking to round him up, because if we can have him in all formats, we're going to be sitting in a really good place. Sometimes I'll transfer it and start working on the defensive side, but it depends on the save. It's what are you trying to achieve? And Snow's improved their attacking bowling to the limit as well. This time I'm going to put him on defensive. Sometimes I don't do it with the batters, but sometimes with the bowlers as well, I will do general technique, and sometimes you can get a few good wins. Again, not really sure on the general technique, what it actually improves. So we've just got through to the end of season number 2. I've done quite a lot with these players so far. This guy's now maxed out. He's a spin specialist. That's pretty incredible. Front foot, leg side. I'd keep trying to see if I can work him on the offside. Redfern's just been through a few injuries, but I'd like him to... Oh, he's already maxed it out. He's maxed out most things, so we'll try a bit of front foot. And Wilmot has maxed out most things now as well. It does get to the point where you just move into general technique and then into batting practice, where you really start to see them shine. But Lampard this year, again, slight increase. We're up to 800 runs now in the season. That's pretty decent. Redfern, not the best season. But again, we've not gone into batting practice yet. But Wilmot, we definitely see a player, an average of 35, an average of 31. There's a lot of good things in that young man's career coming ahead. Bannister with the ball, 13 wickets at 19 in first class, average 30s in other formats. Snow, though, 21 wickets at 21 in the Blast, 16 at 20 in one day, and then he took 90 wickets in the county championship. So it worked. We managed to find ourselves an absolute incredible specimen of a bowler. And it found someone averaging 22 with a really high strike rate in first class cricket to get it done. Thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments below what's yours, tricks and tips to find the best Wonder Kids and develop them. We'll see you soon.